Hi, welcome to my channel focusing on photographic inspiration. Now, I know that many of you are thinking of updating some of your photo gear that you have to inspire and enable you to a whole new level of photography. So I figure I'll talk about one of my favorite lenses, the Canon 70-200 f2.8L IS version 2, and maybe give you some insights of what it can do if you're thinking about getting one yourselves. Now, this video isn't a technical review of this lens. I'm not going to compare it with something else or pull up some graphs or show you some sharpness diagrams or whatever you can do. This is more like a talk between two friends where one is talking about this lens. When I first got this lens, I was really curious as to what it can do. I mean, it's kind of a monster. It's huge. It has a big front element and it looks like a telescope. I already had a zoom lens going up to 250 millimeters, but I never had this L series lens, these lenses that have the red stripe at the end. So instead I was actually thinking that this lens was something like a telescope, that I could actually see further away than my 250 millimeters, although this is just a 200 millimeter. So at that time I never understood the concept of f2.8 during the entire range, and when it comes to sharpness of the lens I was totally clueless. So initially I was a little bit disappointed that this 200 millimeter lens didn't get me as far as my 250 millimeter, but it just took one image to realize that this lens is amazing. First of all, this lens is incredibly sharp. I mean, I didn't know what sharpness was until I got this lens. This is like being nearsighted and not knowing about it, and you just put on a pair of glasses and you can see how blind you were before. So initially when I saw the sharpness of this lens, I actually thought that I was doing something wrong with my previous lens. I actually tried to calibrate and fix the previous lens because I thought that couldn't be so much difference. So this massive opening at the end enables f2.8 in the entire range of 70-200 millimeters. And this lens is not moving. It doesn't have any moving parts in this direction. So this is at 70 millimeters and now I am at 200 millimeters, and it's maintaining its length. And also it has stabilization in two directions. The vertical direction, basically when holding this lens like this, and it also has a horizontal stabilization if you're tracking something moving. And its autofocus is incredibly fast. It also has a focus range limiter, enabling you even faster autofocus. So needless to say, this L series lens blew my mind. It's really versatile. I use it for weddings, I use it for portraits, I use it for astrophotography, landscape photography, yeah, you name it. I mean, it's always with me. The downside of this lens is the attention you're getting. Because it's such a big lens, people tend to look at you when you're photographing. For me, it's a little bit difficult because I really don't like the attention that I'm getting. I do prefer to use this lens when I'm a strictly professional shoot or when I'm alone in the woods photographing landscape or wildlife. The second downside with this lens is that it weighs a lot. If you're strictly a landscape photographer, you wouldn't need the 2.8 version. I would go for the f4 version. It's smaller, lighter, and you wouldn't really need 2.8 for landscapes. But if you're planning of using this lens in other ways, like portraits or so, then I would definitely go for the 2.8 version. So that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore about that lens. It's an amazing lens and I love it. I always carry it with me. And if you're thinking of buying one, I definitely recommend it. You will actually see it in action in future videos, and you can also see it in previous videos that I made. So that's it. If you like this video, do hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my content, don't forget to subscribe. And as usual, any feedback or thoughts are very welcome in the comments section. So, see you next time. Bye.